Tom Show, Tom Show. Hey, and we're live, everyone. This is Jay in Sports Cards.
Hey,
Jay. Jay's back. If you're going to be a fan of mine, you should get used to seeing Jay because he's sexy and adorable and my best friend. So we did a show together before, and he's such an insightful person. I'm going to bring him back, but I haven't been doing this because I recorded a commercial for the sponsor, because this is a Tom Show by the giraffes right up there above Jay's head. And I just want to read this down. Like I said, I recorded it, but then they changed the charity that they were donating to. It was the WWF that stole the WWF's name, but now it's a different one because this different one accepts cryptocurrency, and it's more in line with, what they're trying to do with the giraffes. So the Giant Giraffe Gang is a budding project coming out of Southern Ohio. It is a 3-person team who aims to bring light to the lesser-known fact that in Africa, giraffes are poached mainly for their tails. With that said, they've committed to donating 10% of their secondary sales to the International Anti-Poaching Fund. See, it was the WWF, now it's the Anti-Poaching Fund. Let me see, where did I go? Who are overseas battling poaching and precious animals across the globe. The community is built on inclusivity and welcomes all, regardless of sexual orientation, religion, language, or beliefs. They aim to help relieve the NFT space of gaslighting and hatred that has started to take root in the space, and are big in putting work to the recognition we all deserve. They hope you consider joining the herd. Cole's a really nice guy. They moved to Wax, which is actually kind of awesome for a lot of people. I'm out of wax, and I have to buy more wax so I can do my memory, so I can buy more stuff and sell stuff. But we all got rugged by Tops. Series 1 came out, and they're like, it's on Wax, and everyone's like, oh, Wax, that's the poor people NFT platform. But now, because it's resource free, it's not intensive, so it's better for the environment. You don't have to have all these machines verifying, the contracts, mining Bitcoin, the mining and the gas fees. So Wax, a lot of people are like, hey, you know what? It's cheap. It doesn't hurt the environment as much, and it's kind of cool. Wax, it's you created NFTs there. It's really simple to use. So it's
if I can do it, anybody can do it. I've got a couple of NFTs. I also own one of those giraffes. So proud of that. Proud to make my donation.
Yeah, it's awesome. He was blown away, by the way. He was like, what the, and when you were bidding, he's like, that's too much for my project. I was like, man, ain't nothing too much if people want to pay it,
Yeah,
So
I wanted that second one, but I mistimed the auction. So real quick, I see that our good friends Eric Hecker and Chad have already commented in the comments. So welcome, guys. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for reminding me to switch over to the chat mode because I always forget. Yes, Eric Hecker. We are here tonight because of you, my man. Actually, it's a great transition. We are part of your Rack Ambassadors program, which I call the Council of Elrond, because I'm a nerd and you guys aren't, and that's why we just call it the Rack Ambassadors. This is Chase Month. Shay chose February because it's a National Heart Awareness Month. And when you're in the Rack Ambassadors, you get a day of the month every month that you are responsible for helping Eric, be the Rack of the Day donation giver, picker, or whatever. We do that, but then we all have a month where we have a charitable cause we're supposed to help. Last, month was, the polar plunges for Chris and Kev, and this month it's the heart for Che. So Che, go ahead and tell everyone about it.
Well, so yeah, like you said, I'm in Hecker's Rack of the Month Club, and I think there's 14 of us now. It started off with a dozen of us.
Yeah.
So there was 12 of us. It made perfect sense. Everybody take a day of the month to do the rack to help alleviate some of the pressure on Eric to have to come up with something every day. And then each month we would also get to choose one person to be our monthly rack. So we do a big rack a month. So we do a rack every single day. And then we all pull our money together and do like one nice rack every month, and then we all choose a charity to donate to that month. So February I chose. I knew right away as soon as we got in there, I was like, I'm doing February because I've been planning it since May of last year when we finished our Jed Foundation auction.
I know, yes.
Yeah, so I knew that this year I wanted my my focus on any fundraising activities I did to be on the American Heart Association, and February is National Heart Month, so that just made perfect sense. And I'm truly excited about. I get to choose who we do the big rack for this month. Man, I chose a hard person. I chose somebody who, what do you get for the guy who's got everything, right? How do you give a card to the guy who's got one of the greatest collections on the planet? And I'm not joking. So I chose somebody who just has the most amazing collection I've ever seen. And I'm like, how do we give a rack to this guy? But I figured out how to do it. And I'm really, really excited for that to get here and us to give that to him. I'll probably do that on video. So I'm excited about that. But then the big thing, man, is the American Heart Association fundraiser that I'm doing. And I didn't know what kind of goal to set. I struggled with it. Eric and I talked through it. We raised $3,200 for Jed last year. We didn't know what we were doing. We had no clue what we were doing. And I didn't want to come down from what we did last year. I wanted to, to make it more. But then this environment, we're not in the same economy we were last year. Everybody had those stimmy checks, and they were, people were buying and selling cards and just spending money freely. And it's not the same environment this year. So I thought about going $2,500 as my goal, and that's what I was going to do. But as I was planning this thing, man, I got some pretty good commitments from some pretty big name folks to help me spread awareness. And they have been doing that. I don't know if you guys saw today, Hall of Fame, Rod Carew. I've been in contact with him. He's my hero. He's my childhood hero. He and I have been we talked in DMs before. He knows my story, and I'll tell my story in a few minutes. I know, he's a heart transplant. He had a widowmaker heart attack, and he's had to get a new heart because his damaged his heart so bad. So he agreed to help me spread awareness. And so I was thinking, man, Rod Crew's got 70,000 Twitter followers, and he's going to help me spread awareness. And then I don't know if any of you guys follow Baseball History Nut, but he's got about 70,000 followers, gets quite a few impressions a day. When I say quite a few, he probably gets 100 million impressions a month. And he agreed to help me spread awareness. So he's retweeting my stuff. But I'll be honest with you, kind of 8 days in, it's a little slower than I thought. It's not embarrassingly slow. I'm trending to hit about 80% of that goal. I'm trending to hit about $4,000. I'm 2 days behind, basically. But I've got a lot of plans for later in the month. We did a sales thread last weekend. Really helped us catch up. Eric Hecker, who's watching, did a really cool thing on Friday, just a 1 hour thing, kind of inspired people to take a selfie and send it to him. And for everybody who sent him a selfie, he would donate $1, send a selfie of them wearing red. So he said, hey, I'll donate $1 for everybody who does it. And I said, well, hey, I'll match that. So we had 21 people send a selfie to him. So he donated $21. I matched it with $21. And then I look on the fundraiser link, and 3 other people matched us. So, and we had a couple other donations come in. So like in that hour, we got $120, $130 just like that. Just spontaneous. So we'll do some spontaneous stuff. We did an auction over the weekend. Not an auction. Well, we did an auction. Hecker did an auction for Joe Montana card that someone bought from our Jed Foundation last year. Yeah. And then turned around and reached out and said, hey, I bought this card from your fundraiser last year. How about I donate it back and you sell it for your fundraiser this year? And I was like, are you sure about that? And they're like, yeah, man, this is my way. I can't really donate that much this year. I can't really bid this year, but I want to contribute. So why don't we sell this card? So Eric auctioned that over the weekend. That brought like $130. And then we did a sales thread. as well, where the community kind of joined in. I sold 7 or 8 cards at $10 a piece and asked other people to find $10 cards to sell, and they did. So long story short, we raised about $600 in 3 days. So that really helped us. And I'm going to do sales threads every weekend throughout the rest of the month. So next weekend, I might not limit it to exactly a $10 card. I just thought last weekend we just do the minimum donation on the AHA website is $10. You cannot donate less than $10, which frustrates me, and we'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
I would love for people to be able to donate $1. I mean, $10. It might not sound like a lot to some people, but $10, you can feel that. But I think everybody could donate $1. Everybody could. I mean, you could. Anybody who sees that could say, yeah, I'll throw $1 in on that. But man, you can't find a platform that lets you donate $1. I found one last night, PayPal, and got really, really excited. I was like, okay, we'll open like a sub link, a sub fundraiser, and it'll be for anybody who can donate less than 10. We'll have them send it to this link, and then we'll collate all that money. And at the end of it, we'll just take that and make one big donation. And I was super excited. I shared it with a few friends. It worked. They were able to donate $1. They could go on there and see that it was transparent. I mean, it was PayPal hosted. It wasn't going to Che Lopez 74 at gmail.com. It was going to the fundraising link, and they could see it grow. And it says, okay, there's been $3 donated. There's been $4 donated. That's what the public saw. When I was looking at it on the back end, I was seeing 48 cents donated, 48 cents donated, 48 cents donated. I'm like, why is everybody donating 48 cents? Turns out PayPal takes a 49-cent flat fee, whether the donation is $100,000 or $1. PayPal takes 49 cents out of it. And then they do 2.9% on every donation as well. So if you donated $10, they would take 49 cents plus 30 cents. So they would take 79 cents. But if you donate $1, they take 52 cents of it. So we had a couple tweets out. We were actually seeing dollar donations come in, and within about 5 minutes, I had to stop it. I went through and issued refunds, which I'm not complaining, but PayPal kept those fees. I had to refund $1 to everybody who donated. I got 48 cents in the fundraiser, and I was refunding $1 to all these people. So yeah, I didn't lose a whole lot of money on that, but it was just really frustrating because what I didn't want to have happen, and I would be willing to make up some of that on the back end. But if we got to 500 donations or 1,000 donations, the link said that there would be $500 raised, but the money available to me would have been $240. So I could have only donated $240, but people would have been seeing that we raised 500, and they would have thought that I was pocketing some of that money. Where did that money go? I think it would have just looked really, really bad. And plus, I didn't want them to take half of the money. So, I put a nix on that. I would love to find a way to allow people to donate in mass $1 at a time and make it a grassroots community effort. You got Rod Carew retweeting my tweets with his 70,000 followers, and Baseball History Nut retweeting with his 70,000 followers. Fergie Jenkins liked one of the tweets today. He's got 40,000 followers now. If you could get that mentality going to like, I could do $1. That's a Diet Coke from McDonald's. That's a third of a cup of coffee from Starbucks. I could do that. I would love to find a platform that would allow people to do that, but I haven't been able to find that yet. So that's been frustrating. But, another bit of good news. Blake Jameson reached out to me today, said, hey, I've got a print for you. Last year, Lauren Taylor donated an autographed print, and Ken Carl Art donated one for us. So I didn't reach out to Blake last year because I donated the Blake Jameson autographed Mike Trout card. So we already had a Blake Jameson piece. Yeah. So I donated one out of my personal collection last year. But he's going to donate a print that we're going to hold a separate auction for on the 25th, 26th, and 27th. So I'm excited about that. So we got some other stuff planned for later in the month. So I'm not too worried about being 2 days behind. I keep track of it. I'm like, are we on pace? Are we on pace? Every day I like to be on pace. But we're just sitting over, we're at $1,050. The last time I looked a couple hours ago.
Wow.
Needed to be at $1,250 as of this morning, probably at this time of night, needed to be a little bit over $1,300. So trending a little behind, but we got a lot to do. I haven't done a whole lot as far as just other than just kind of asking people to donate. And I hope that there's a lot. We had 41 individual donors so far. But hey, we got 20 days left, and I think we can get there. But if I don't get to 5,000, we're going to get close, and we're going to do a lot of good with that money. So, it is what it is. But it's a cause that it's very important to me. So, every dollar that we raise is very much appreciated.
Heisman Nerd, I believe the fundraising link, if you go to his Twitter, Chase Twitter, Ian Sports Cards 1, it'll be there either as pinned, probably your pinned tweet, right?
It's on my pinned tweet, and it's throughout several tweets that I've done, but it is on my pinned tweet. Rest assured, I don't see a penny of this money. I went to the American Heart Association and created a fundraiser on their website. So it's mygiving.heart.org. And so the money does not come to me. When I do my auctions, I will not allow somebody to send me money. And even if we're doing sales threads and Tom sells a card on my sales thread, I don't let Tom take the money. Tom has to say, show me a screenshot that you donated to the American Heart Association. So I hope it's not confusing. My pinned tweet has the link to our fundraiser. The first day that we did this, I got about $75 in donations that people showed me the screenshot, and they never showed up on my management portal. Turns out they just went to AHA.org, the heart.gov, heart.org, and they donated, but it just went straight into the Heart Association, and we don't show credit for it. So actually, we've got about $75 more than what our link is showing. But I would be very appreciative. Any donation is great, but we would love it if you did it through our link, which is my pinned tweet, and it's at Ian Sports Cards 1. So thank you for asking that. So.
Yeah, because we both had this discussion. Like, we don't want to give out our personal PayPals for this, and I did for the Polar Plunge because I only had like 10 donors, and I was like, hey, just put Polar Plunge. I have no PayPal. I'm not buying or selling cards. It's empty. And then, they donated with that tag, friends and family. And then Chris's donation let me go straight to his page accepted PayPal. Kevin's didn't. So I had to take it to my bank account and then transfer it. But then it's like, okay, but I did take screenshots to show underneath that tweet where I asked for money is like, okay, yeah, this is it. And that was nerve wracking. And that was just, like 10 people and, that much. To do it like what you want to do and to get like 800 people donating $1, that would be great if it was like into like one of our PayPal accounts, but like would PayPal shut us down? Because we've had so many card friends, get shut down over, multiple minute transactions like that. So there's a lot of worry, like, because I would be willing to do it, but like I would be terrified to do it. And I know you don't want to. Don't want to do that. And you're like, I wouldn't want to put that on anyone either. And I'm like, thank you, because I would be scared. So, but Jay, you got to remember, we did a huge push for, Chris and Kev, and then Hecker with the colitis, the Ripping for the Cure, that just came out. And it's going to be like this when we do these, everybody has their auction, it's going to be a push at the end of the month to hit the goals. And then you can't start out like strong, you're going to have to wait till the middle of the month, till the end of the month, I think. And I know you're stressing on it because, you set a goal and you want to achieve that goal, and it's a cause that's important to you. And that's why you're just like, so like, okay, 28 days, I need, $200 a day plus a little bit more. And you're like all stressing out, but Tom would just be like, God's hands.
That's
Jesus, man, takes the wheel. Not really, because I do tweet, my anything giveaways, I try to retweet every day for my friends and put some work in. But I was just thinking, like I said, I wasn't going to do a charity stream, but we could play a scary game or something together. Just dual stream. There's this game called Phasmophoria or Phasmophoria.
Yeah, I'll have my son Eli do that. I'll have him play it with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love that actually. It's shoot, it's on this side here. Yeah, you're just a person, you go to a house to investigate ghosts, the ghost can murder you, and he's played Five Nights at Freddy's, I'm sure, with the jump
Oh
scare.
yeah, he's
So
played Five Nights at Freddy's, and he's on a beta for Hello Neighbor, Secret Neighbor. He's in a
yeah,
beta.
that game is crazy too.
Yeah.
I've seen
He's
play.
he's in a beta group for that. So anytime they do like the what they're going to launch like 6 months from now, he
Yeah,
gets to play it, and he thinks he's the coolest kid in the world
he
because
is a cool.
he gets to play this stuff first. But
I'm willing to do it if he wants to do. You might have to. I don't know. Can kids stream on Twitch? Because I can't do a dual person. He could be in my Discord recording, but I don't know how that works.
They can't. But if I'm in the room, he can. I'll let him do mine. Like he can't stream on YouTube, but if I'm in the room, I had a kind of a little go around with YouTube on that one, but I'll let him stream. But I'm in the room with him, so
okay.
He uses my account, but yeah, I'll let him do that. So
I would play that because
Hey Garrett, what's up?
That kind of goes hand in hand. So at the end of the month, I'll play a spooky game with him.
That'd be cool.
Fast Fourier, whatever. Yeah, I'll send you a link to it later. It's like $15. It's been out for a while. It's one of those cheap Steam games. You'll see streamers play it. But I need someone to carry me because I'm like level 1. I played like one game and then they kicked me out. They're like, "You're level 1. You can't be on a team." And I'm like, "How am I going to play the game then if I just keep getting kicked?" So I just need like a super kid like yours just to carry me so I can have fun and play.
Oh yeah, he would love that.
Could do anything to help out, and there it is going to be a big push because we're going to have to find a way, because like you and we used a lot of our stuff last year for the Jed Foundation, and I told you, I was like, I wish I had another $200-300 card sitting around. We could be hey, do this for the Heart Foundation, and you feel good about that. But I've donated so much stuff to help my buddies with no regrets at all. It's like, please, I don't need these cards, and if they're going for a great cause, that's even better. Racks and good causes for charity. Get these junk cards out of my house, and they're not junk cards; they're just not my cards, so I don't really care about them. But
yeah, I wanted to do it this year without asking for too much, without asking for people to donate cards and stuff like that. But I'm not hesitant to do, and I'm not ashamed to do is, and thank you, Garrett. Garrett just started joining the chat. His fire relief in late December kind of inspired me, and you guys might remember I've talked about it before, and Garrett's talked about it. But I was just driving home from work one night, and I'm like, man, I'd love to help Garrett. I'd love to help him, but I just donated every bit of discretionary income I had to my own tornado relief that we did $2,000 in 3 days, which is another reason why I set 5,000 as my goal for the Heart Association, is because in December we did 2,000 in 3 days for the I live in Kentucky. We had the tornadoes here, and we just spur of the moment did a fundraiser, and we got $2,000 really quick. But I was short on cash. I couldn't really justify donating as what I wanted to donate to help Garrett. So I on the way home from work one night, I was like, how can I help him? I was like, I know what I'll do. I don't have any money, but I got a ton of cards. I had, like a Shohei Ohtani that was a chrome parallel that I thought I could get 40 or $50 out of. I had a couple other cards that I can get 40 out of this one, 30 out of this one, 20 out of this one. So I just reached out to him and said, hey man, I'm going to sell some cards tonight. Everything I get, I'm going to have them pay you instead of pay me. Is that cool? And he's like, absolutely. Thank you. Well, I put it up there. And the next thing you know, Kelly from Kelly's Cards is putting his own cards up. Wes, puts $100 lot up, and then within a couple of hours, we raised $600 or $700 just from people who didn't maybe have the money to go on to a donation link and say, here's $100 for you, Garrett. But they had cards that they could sell, and the community reacted to that so well. I thought I would just do that for my fundraiser a couple or 3 times. So maybe if you couldn't donate a card last weekend on the $10 one, next weekend we're going to do one, and I might not have the $10 cap on it, and then the weekend after that we'll do a final one. I'm not asking everybody to donate every weekend. I'm not asking you if you donated $25 already to throw a card up there. But what I'm asking is, hey, if you didn't have the money to give $10 or to give $25, if you've got a card sitting in your closet that's been there for 2 years and you think it can bring $15 and it's not important to you, throw it on a sales thread and have the person pay my donation. And you just donated $15 and it didn't come out of your pocket. So I'm going to hope that works. Like I think it can work if we get a big one going toward the end of the month. So I really haven't reached out to a lot of people and say, hey, can you send me a card to auction off? Blake, like I said, Blake Jameson's going to send me a print. I didn't reach out to Lauren. I haven't reached out to Ken Carl. I haven't reached out to a lot of people. I wanted this to be organic. I wanted it to be a community effort and just to show what the power of a bunch of small donations would be. Last year I got I got a pretty large donation from somebody who wanted to remain anonymous, but happens to be the person that I'm doing the February rack for, but yeah. I purposely not even gone to him and told him what we're doing because I don't really want him to just throw a big amount of money on there. I'd love to get it. But I just want this to be a community, let's rally around. And I don't want to put anybody out. I don't want any person to feel like they're obligated to donate or obligated to donate this much. I just want, hey, if you can give me $10, man, if you can give us $10, that's all we need. And I just want it to kind of grow and get its own momentum that way. So that's the hope. As we get toward the end of the month, if I see that we're really in need of some injection, I might reach out to some people and see if they can help. But I hope to not get to that point.
I did want to donate, and I asked you guys for value on it, but no one seemed to want to put value on it. I have the one of 7 Tom P. Willis foot card that we use for the Jack Foundation. It is approved by Ian Sports Cards. He has the logo on the back. $5,000 right here. No, if you're watching this, sorry, I just kicked my desk, and you're a true believer in Che and myself, and you want to help out, and you just want to throw like a donation of some kind, and you want this card, please let one of us know. We're not going to ask for a lot, but hey, if you want to throw down like $20 and get this card or whatever, hopefully more, but I have it. It's the 1 of 7. There are 9 of these total. Jen got one for winning the auction, the Feet Bay auction. Lauren Taylor has a special 101 for kicking the whole idea off, and there were 9 others. I have the 1 of 7, the first one. So I'm willing to put my feet out there again, Che. It was for OnlyFans only, but I will bring them out of retirement for you, for anything. So
I'll take it.
Let's tell your story real quick, and then let's just have some fun after that, because this story is going to be kind of, crazy. I've heard it a few times, and my wife really wants to hear this because she asked the other day, when I was talking to you, like, hey, what's going on? So we want to know, like, why does this mean so much to you? And if you know Che, you've probably watched a lot of his, Twitter videos, and he's talked to this before. He probably has those replays still available up there. But yeah, go ahead, Che.
Okay. By looking at me, you can tell I'm vintage. I've got the grizzled look going. I mean, I'm in my 40s, but you wouldn't look at me. I'm not. I don't appear not to be healthy. Pretty fit. Still young, but I'm 47 years old now, and 10 years ago, this October 2nd, I was 38 years old, and I had been to visit my father with my now 11-year-old, who was 18 months old at the time. Had driven from my home about 30 minutes from my dad's house to go visit him. I visited my mom first, and then went from my mom over to my dad's. We were just taking the grandson to visit the grandparents that day. And on my way back home, it was dark outside. I was driving on a 4-lane divided highway going about 55 miles an hour. I noticed something was wrong. And when I say something was wrong, I mean something was really wrong. I couldn't breathe. I mean, I didn't hurt. My chest didn't hurt. My arms weren't numb. They weren't tingling. I just couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. Um, and I guess I don't want to say thankfully because it's not thankfully. Um, I have a really, really strong family history of heart disease and heart attacks. My mom's from one of those small rural Kentucky towns raised in the 50s where parents had 10 kids to be able to help. I mean, you just, those huge families that you find in the rural communities back then. So she was one of 10 kids. 8 of them lived past infancy, which was common back then. Infant mortality rate was much higher back then. But of her and her 7 siblings, all 8 of them had heart attacks in their 40s. And, none of them saw the age of 70. And they all died. My mom didn't die necessarily of a heart related event, but she had quintuple bypass surgery. She had multiple heart attacks. She ended up passing away from some complications from dementia and some other stuff. But long story short, I knew what a heart attack looked like. I knew what the warning signs were. I was 38. My closest cousin growing up, basically your best friend cousin who you hang out with all summer and you hang out with, all the time. My mom and his mom, they were the closest 2 sisters of the group. So they were always together and I was always with Bill. Bill had a widowmaker heart attack at age 32 and passed away on the spot. So he had passed away a few years before that had happened to me. So I knew, I just knew what I was like. I'm having a heart attack. I mean, my chest's not hurting. My hands aren't numb, but I know what this is. So at the time I was married and Noah was 18 months old. Eli was 4 months old and he was at home with my then wife. So I called her and I said, "Hey, I'm on the road with Noah. I've got both car seats in my back seat. You don't have any car seats in your car because we only had the one set of car seats. We just took them everywhere in my car." I was like, "You stay there with Eli. But I think I'm having a heart attack." So obviously she was scared. She didn't know what was going on. So I hung up with her, called my dad because I just left his house like 12, 15 minutes earlier. Maybe not that long. I was like, "Hey, Dad, I need you to come get Noah. I'm pulling off the side of the road here in a minute." And I was trying to find a safe spot to pull off the side of the road because it's a 4-lane divided highway. And, I've got my son in the back seat. So I was like, "But you got to come get him because I'm about to call 911. So I called my wife at the time. I called my dad. And so then I hung up with him. And by that time, my hands were starting to tingle. I was like, this is real. I'm not imagining this. This is real. So I called 911, got on the phone with the operator, told her what was going on. And then, at that point, the chest pain started and I got pulled off to the side of the road safely. Noah's in the back seat. And he was scared to death, just kept saying, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy." He was only 18 months old, but he knew something was wrong. So, thankfully, it's like 7 minutes from the time that I got on the phone with 911. They were there. I gave them pretty good directions. It's a road that I've driven 100,000 times in my life. So I was able to pinpoint, here is where I am. So they came and got me. They tried to put me in the back of the ambulance and take me. And I'm like, "Hell no, you're not taking me until my dad gets here. I'm not leaving my son back there." And at that point, another sheriff's deputy showed up. He was so awesome. He came running up to me and he's like, "What does he call your dad? Because I don't want to tell him Granddad's coming and him not know who Granddad is." So I tell him, he thought of that,
Yeah, if it's Peepaw, you want to say Peepaw's coming.
Right.
So knows.
Yeah. So, he thought of that kind of stuff. And that really eased my mind. I'm like, all right, this cat knows he's got his stuff together, and there's a deputy back there. So I let him put me on up in the ambulance at that point. But I was like, hell no, you're not putting me in that ambulance and taking me away. So turns out, he let Noah stand on his seat. Noah had the little microphone. He was doing the sirens and the lights and
pull over, honky.
Yeah. So I found out later that my dad was pulling up as the ambulance was pulling off, and my dad, Chad's watching. He knows my dad, and he knows this story. But my dad walks up to the sheriff's cruiser, and he's like, first words out of his mouth is like, "Noah, you're 18 months old, and Papa's already having to come get you from the police." It's just, but they got me to the hospital. They asked me where I wanted to go. We were in a small little town. I'm like, do not take me to that hospital. Don't. I didn't know that I was having a widowmaker, which it was a widowmaker hospital, heart attack. But we drove past the nearest hospital because I told them, don't take me there. Take me to Central Baptist Hospital, which was about 12 minutes further. But it is the #1 heart hospital in Kentucky and one of the top ones in America. It's always, that's its reputation. It's a heart hospital. So they got me there. Thankfully, everything just fell my way. If everything can fall your way on a night you have a widowmaker heart attack, everything did. They got to me in time. The premier cardiologist on staff was in the building at that night when they wheeled me in. So from the time I called 911 to the time they had stents in my heart was less than an hour. Wow. And they want it to be less than an hour from the time you enter the hospital to the time they get them in. Mine was less than an hour from the time I dialed 911 till the time they had me fixed up. So, I made it. I had my two main arteries. There's 5 arteries. My 2 main arteries were both 100% blocked. And then all the other 3 had significant blockage as well. So I'm lucky, man. I'm fortunate, but that's why I chose the American Heart Association, because I don't want my sons.
You don't want your sons to be doing fundraisers
at age 30.
For you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In memory of my dad, or they do have a quarter of that.
Well, no, I don't want them to have a heart attack in their 30s.
Too,
I want there to be better medicine, better preventative care, better awareness, because that scares the shit out of me, man. That I'm just like, I hope they got some of my genes, but I hope they got their mom's heart.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope they got some of my heart as far, physical heart. Yeah.
Because you got the best heart I know, Jay, when it comes to hobby Twitter. So, that's just the story that you just don't know how to, thank God you knew, but don't thank God because he took, 192 members of your family before, and that was the lesson to get you there. It sucks, but my superhero, Kevin Smith, he had a widowmaker heart, and he lost all this weight, but he couldn't breathe. That was the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't breathe and couldn't get comfortable, he said. So guys, if you're out there, you have that history. If you start that, because your oxygen is not getting into your blood, basically. So that's why it's blocked.
The biggest thing, and I'll tell you, I mean, I'm not here to preach, and but if you can learn from me, like a month before that, we had been at the beach, and I was just trying to boogie board, and as you're going out into the, you're fighting the waves, and it can be physical exertion, but I would come in from like just one trip out, and I had my hands on my knees and I was bent over, and I'm like, God, I'm out of shape. I'm only 38 years old. I can't believe how out of shape I am, and turns out it wasn't that I was just out of shape. It's just like my blood wasn't taking any oxygen to my body because I had blockages. But that was the biggest, looking back, there were several. I was like, okay, 6 weeks ago, I remember we were doing this and I just freaking couldn't catch my breath. That's a huge sign. That's a huge, huge warning sign. If stuff that you used to do that you don't think you've gotten like that out of shape, but all of a sudden it's just flat kicking your ass, and you just can't catch your breath. You can't breathe. I mean, it's a huge warning sign. Huge warning sign. So
yeah. Let's talk about something, not to like dismiss that story, because that story is super important and people should hear that, to know why they're donating, but also to, help prevent things going in the future. But let's talk about your Bengals, because
there
people
you
don't
go.
talk about your Bengals a lot when it comes to the
Well,
Super Bowl.
I'm telling you, man, 34 years since we've been to the Super Bowl. I've been a Bengals fan all my life. I've also been a Kentucky football fan all my life. I have struggled during football season all my life. This has been a great 2 months for me. I mean, my Bengals, like you said, they hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years. They haven't been to the Super Bowl in 34 years. I grew up, my dad was a huge Bengals fan. If you're our age, and there was no red zone channel. So when Sunday came, you got to watch one AFC team and one NFC team.
Yeah.
That's it. So the only choice we had was to watch the Bengals. Lexington, Kentucky. I grew up just south of Lexington. So it was the Bengals on Sunday. That's who we got to watch. So that was just my team. It was my dad's team. And football is my favorite sport to watch. Baseball is my favorite sport to play. Baseball cards are my favorite cards to collect. But when it comes to sitting down and watching a sport, football's always been my favorite. But I've never gotten the chance to really. I'm not as passionate about the Bengals as I am UK, because I went to UK. That's have some ties there, and it's closer. And at 5 years old, my mom dated the guy whose brother was on the UK team. I got to go in the locker room. I just had that connection with UK. But I've always been a really big Bengals fan, but I'm a bigger college football fan than pro. So when you see me on Twitter, you see me flexing my UK stuff. You don't see me doing a lot of Bengals stuff, but I'm a huge Bengals fan, and this has made me so happy. Kentucky, in my lifetime, the Kentucky football team coming into this year had won 10 games exactly twice.
Mm-hmm.
And this year we won 10 games for a third time and won the Super Bowl. That was Citrus Bowl. That was in January. And then later in the month, the Bengals, for the leading up to this, only twice in my life had they been to the Super Bowl. And now they're going to the Super Bowl for the third time. So within 30 days, my Cats won 10 games for only the third time in my life. And the Bengals are going to the Super Bowl for only the third time in my life. So it's a good time for me to be a football fan. But by damn, I deserve it, because I've been through a ton of shitty seasons.
Who did Kentucky lose to this year
in football?
Yeah,
we had a 3-game losing streak, and we lost to Georgia at Georgia. Played pretty good. Lost about closest game they had, other than the loss to Alabama. And then, my God, we lost to Tennessee. And I know that's probably why you brought that up. That was oh my God.
3-point game.
Yeah. We did not punt. We did not punt in that game and still lost. It was like 48-45. It was stupid. It was the stupidest game. I was at a wedding that night watching it on my phone. I'm really glad I wasn't home watching it, because I hate Tennessee with the passion of 1,000 suns. And the fact that we lost, and we had a 3-game losing streak, finished 10-3, but we lost to Georgia and then Tennessee and then Mississippi State, and we just did not show up for the Mississippi State game. But I know why you were doing that. You wanted to get that dig in.
I did. So, I used to be a big UT fan, but the longer I've been out here and the longer that they've sucked, I've kind of like dropped that somewhat. But I remember I was door dashing, and I didn't even know Tennessee and Kentucky were playing, and I was just door dashing, and I saw a Kentucky flag flying in the neighborhood. I was like, Shay's gonna like that, and I took a picture for you, and then I kept door dashing, and then I go home. I came home that night, and just check your ESPN app or the Score app, whatever you have, and it's like Tennessee beats Kentucky. I was like, oh no, Shay's gonna be so bad. It was bad.
Yeah. Tell you what, though, Kentucky fans, I might have missed that picture if you did send it to me, but it doesn't surprise me that there was a Kentucky flag flying in your neighborhood. I was in Seoul, South Korea one night, and I have a picture that I took of like this marketplace scene, and there were 2 UK T-shirts in that picture, and they weren't together, and they weren't me. And I was like, UK fans are everywhere. I mean, they are everywhere. So, and they're proud. And I'm a proud
Yeah.
UK fan, that's for sure.
I don't have
But
anything against Kentucky.
yeah,
Like I said, I'm not involved with those schools. I moved out, from Colorado, and just you saw Tennessee, so that was like, kind of like a, I could watch Colorado games, like watch Tennessee games because they were in a good program at the time. So that was like my little taste of holding on to home, as I would say,
yeah.
but not as big into it now. You still root for Tennessee, and I know like you guys have a real bad time with their fans and stuff when you go to the games, and I just hate that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
But back to the Bengals. I remember watching my first real Super Bowl I watched was the Broncos losing to the Giants. And then I remember crying in the second quarter of the Washington Broncos game and just giving up on that.
What a crazy game that was.
The Bengals 49ers game, I remember very well. I did the icky shuffle all the time. Every kid was doing it. We learned it. Like if you were on the playground, what was that? 1989?
1988 and 88, 89. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, everyone was doing it at the time.
That's still the highest rated Super Bowl of all time.
Yeah,
I can believe people watch that one. Yeah, more people watch that Super Bowl. But no, man, whether they win or lose, I'm super pumped for them to be there. I'm just that fan that, I mean, just the joy of them being there. Of course, I want them to win. I'm not going to be angry or upset if we lose. Just getting to enjoy this 2 weeks of the Bengals still playing football. Joe Burrow, I mean, how can you not love that guy after that injury last year? Just a competitor, man. I mean, just a will to win. He's got that whatever it is, he's got it. You can't measure it. Yeah, you cannot measure it. You can't define it. I mean, Brady had it. I'm not saying he's Brady, but there's just something, and he's got it. I mean, he's just got a leadership quality.
Measure it. Yeah. That picture of him walking into that walking in before Arrowhead with the diamonds in the suit. Yeah. That's how you measure it. First thing I woke up that morning, someone posted that picture and they said Bengals by 100, and it wasn't by 100, but it happened. So
man, he doesn't get rattled. He doesn't get rattled. He's something else.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. It gave America. It killed evil, basically. There are no evil teams left. The Rams, they slaughtered Brady. Thank my God that, for me personally, and I know it upsets a lot of our fans or friends and stuff, but no Chiefs. That's basically, that's how every season, it's like, dear God, please let the Broncos not suck as bad, and no Chiefs. And I haven't gotten that the last few years. So this year, they gave me the no Chiefs in my prayer. But it's mostly like, America can relax, get wasted, and not even care, and just have fun. But this does bring up a dilemma for me. Von Miller is if I was going to have one player that anyone asked if I ever PC'd, it was Von Miller, and he is on the Rams, and I still do love him. Means the world to Broncos fans still. But LA fans, there are nice LA fans, but really they're like Laker fans and they're Dodger fans and they're Ram fans. So it's kind of like, I kind of secretly hate you, and I don't want to tell it to your face because you're a nice guy and I like your Rams, but I hate the Lakers and I hate the Dodgers. And when you root for them, I want to vomit, but it's okay because I love you, and people do stuff to disappoint you all the time. But Bengals fans, there's you, of course, my friend, the referee, Brandon Tully. He was at that Arrowhead game in Bengals gear.
That'd be awesome.
That was amazing. He's such a nice guy. I think Mighty Lark is rooting for
Mighty
him.
Lark is a huge Bengals fan. Yeah. Kentucky Cards. Jimmy is a huge Bengals fan. Jimmy proposed to his wife on the field at Paul Brown Stadium like 12 years ago. So, yeah.
So it's like
Bengals fan.
Some of the nicest, kindest, most awesome dudes I know are Bengals fans, and I didn't know it because, they're fair weather bandwagon fans. They're only coming out now because they're going to the Super Bowl. That's not true, but it's
we're not fair weather.
nice.
We haven't had anything to puff our chest about, So we just learn to be quiet. When you don't win a playoff game for 31 years, you don't run your mouth a whole lot. Even like when you're having a good season, you have one like we had like 5 years ago. I don't remember it, and Chad's watching this, so he'll probably rub it in. But the end of that playoff game against the Steelers, where we had the back-to-back personal fouls without any time running off. We had the lead and the ball with less than a minute left, and we were like inside the 10-yard line and lost the game. That's so when
Steelers,
you just know, you just know as a Bengals fan, you don't brag, you don't say anything, you just watch the games on Sunday, hope we win, and just know that it's going to end in heartache sometime before January usually.
So I think I'm going to root for Von Miller to have a good game. I'm going to root for the Bengals to win the game. But if not, I don't want the Rams to win unless it's like Von Miller's MVP again, because then that would just be the most craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's a defensive player winning 2 Super Bowl MVPs. But I'm not rooting for that. I'm going to cheer for him. But mostly I'm going to be like most of the rest of America. I'm going to get like a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade and split it with the wife.
Enjoy the game.
Just going to relax. And have
part
fun.
of the reason, I tweeted, it was probably 2 months ago. I was like, you know what? And this was before the playoffs even started. I was like, I think maybe the Rams are my second favorite NFL team because I've never once rooted against them. I cannot ever remember rooting against the Rams. They're just likable. So I like the Rams. So, that will make it easier to stomach if we lose, because it'll be to a team that, I don't mind the Rams. And like you said, it's not Tom Brady again. It's not, it's not the Chiefs again, which, so
for a lot of people,
I'm excited about Sunday.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
it's going to be a great weekend. I'm going to enjoy the hell out of it.
Oh, Lauren Taylor just put out a message in Discord that her Jackie Robinson autos are going on sale soon. So
very cool.
Check it out. I will always chill for LT.
That Robinson is beautiful. I got mine 2 days ago. I tweeted it out. It's a gorgeous card.
Yeah, like I said, I'm a baller on a budget. Keith Shore's card. Did you see Keith Shore's card today?
The collector, the kid, like
the Ken
collector Ken. Yeah,
yes,
that was pretty cool.
It's my favorite card of the Project 70. He did the garbage pail thing for his last 5. His final card is Ken Griffey Jr. surrounded by Keith Shore Project 2020 Ken Griffey Jr.'s like wall art, and then he's like drowning in the cards and holding up the 101. It's like, I know what happened last year. I made a ton of money on this and killed the project, but we're going to make fun of it, and I just love it. So I'm actually glad this project's over, because I told my wife, I was like, I don't care. Keith Shore, can do whatever he wants. Party can do whatever he wants, but I'm not going to go in on this commitment of like having to buy the cards, because I made that commitment to get the print, and it's like, I like all their cards anyway. So it's not like I'm upset about buying their cards, but it's just like, it's been over a year, and it's like dragging on. But LT is getting a set of her own, like the Keith Shore Bowman.
Saw that.
So if you're a Lauren Taylor fan, look out for that. They'll probably try to cash in on Alex Party and, other people. Yeah, I have my, I dug it out, my Trevor story print from her. I'm going to get that framed, and I have I'm going to try to do like 3 cards on the bottom, like a relic, his rookie card, and because I have an auto of Trevor's stories that I got in a trade. So it's like, I want to try to do that and have it up in my office here. The Stormtroopers, they have the wolf picture in my first Bob Ross style painting, but then back here I might want to put some more of my art and stuff. So it'll be fun to decorate now that we got our situation settled. I still got to clean off this table, but it's been a crazy week. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. The Super Bowl, I'm super looking forward to it. As a big sports fan, I usually always do, but it's almost always like, please, 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 please don't let that person win, and not please, please, please let this team win.
Right.
And now it's like, I don't care who wins, but please, my best friends, the people I like more so. I mean, Ivan, that's really the only thing that sucks is Ivan is a Rams fan, so it's like I don't want Ivan to be disappointed, but he was in the Dark Knight, so screw him. Someone posted in one of my other groups, like, did you know that Watch the Bricks guy was in Batman? And everybody's like, yes.
Yeah.
He didn't tell us. It's just everyone finds it. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. You can't not love Ivan,
No, Ivan's great. He's awesome.
So what else you want to talk about?
Your show.
You TopShot. You're my guest, though. You said you got a rare moment in a TopShot pack.
Yeah, I haven't done TopShot in a while. I forget about it. I forget about TopShot. I don't monitor it all the time, but man, it seems like every time I do buy a pack, something good happens. So, I mean, the other day I just picked up my phone, just picked it up, and it was either 101 or 201. I mean, it was going from 2 o'clock to 201, and there's a notification from TopShot said KD pack drop. So I opened it and go there now, and it's like, oh, the waiting room's open. Join drop. So I hit join drop, and I must have got in at the perfect time because it was like, you're number 13,000 in line. They're like, oh crap, it's perfect. So it was a $19. Yeah, it was a $19 pack. So I went ahead and bought it, and I ripped it, and it had a Donovan Mitchell rare. I think it was numbered to 749. It was a pretty good serial number. And I'm like, Donovan Mitchell, he played for Louisville. He plays for the Jazz. I don't want this damn card. So I immediately, or not card, but moment, I immediately put it on the market, and it sold in like 7 hours later. I got a notification that it sold for $240. I'm like, cool. So, I spent 19. I've got 240. Went on there today. So I went and I bought like 9 moments today. Kind of back into it a little bit. Bought all UK players, all under 1,000 serial number. I got them for $3 to $6 to $7. Sold a couple more. Sold a Zion and sold. I had a Russell Westbrook that was worth a little bit, but it wasn't worth anything to me.
Yeah.
So I sold 3 more moments today. Used that money to buy like 9 UK players. So my Dapper Wallet's got padded again. I can play a little bit longer, and so that's how I collect TopShot. People wouldn't believe it. I mean, I'm not the guy who just flips everything. So I collect it just like I collect my Rod Cruz and my Fergie Jenkins and my J.R. Richards. I collect, I bought a Trey Lyles today because he played for Kentucky. I bought a Rajon Rondo. They're never going to be worth anything. Those I bought an Anthony Davis might be worth something one day, but the moments I bought today, they'll never resell for anything. But I like them. They're cool. And then I sold a bunch that don't mean squat to me that might end up being worth more one day. But it's been a moneymaker for me. I put $27 in it about this time last year. I cashed out 1,000 at one point, like cashed it out. It went into my bank account. I've got between 300 and 400 in there now, all from an initial $27 deposit. And I'm up to like over 60 UK moments. That I just like looking at them. So I make fun. I tweeted about it. I was like, make fun of me if you want. That's how I collect. I collect TopShot the same way I collect my cards. Just so happens that have been for a year now making a little money on TopShot, whereas don't make a whole lot of money on cards. So
I'm the same way. Just nuggets. It's just more straightforward and easier to identify as fandom than like a college team collecting those players, but it's still the same thing. It's like I want nuggets. I don't want anyone else. You want UK. You don't really care about anyone else. And I gotta warn you though. I got into the all day the NFL version.
I bought a pack of those.
They're $49 for a pack. And it's
can't sell them either. There's no marketplace.
There's no marketplace, and I got 2 San Francisco running back touchdown. That's the same moment, different serial numbers, of course. And then the other one was a Buffalo running back that scored a touchdown that week. And I was like, that was all I had. I had to sell, like I had a LeBron moment. No, a Zion LeBron moment my brother gave me to like pay me back as a gift for all the moments and packs I sent him. But it was just like, man, I'm dead. I have like
Yeah.
13 Dapper Bucks, and I'm just like, no. But actually, if you're really into the NBA as a whole with the Top Shot, they do these like I was gonna say like projects, but like these contests where they have the top scores in the league, or they'll do like who are the top 5 rebounders, make a showcase with those moments, and you win a moment, so they've gotten better at engaging the community and creating a reason to hit
Yeah.
the marketplace up besides just collecting. So that's really cool. It's just not for me, because like I don't have anyone but Nuggets, and the Nuggets have the Joker and no one else on their team really.
Yeah.
Aaron Gordon's okay, but you know what I mean. It's like I can't participate in that way. I can only collect, and I just like you. I was paying a little bit more attention than you for a while there, but then like these last few months, I've just been like, I don't care. I'll go check my Nuggets and see, what's going on there. If there's anything new I can buy, but since I blew my money on the all day stuff, I'm just like, I'm just gonna chill for a bit until the all day market opens up, and then maybe I could try to flip a couple of those, maybe buy some Broncos.
I got a Joe Mixon on my all day pack, and I don't even know who my other two were. I can't even remember, but it was $49, but it's early on in the project, so I don't think there'll be a lot of those. But I was happy to get the Mixon, although he's not my favorite. Personal things of his in the past, but he's Bengal. But no, I was really surprised that there's no marketplace on there yet. But so I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, I think they probably want to get more control over it, and not have it be like Top Shot where people are just coming in to flip. They want to try to build up something, and it's like, no, we need that marketplace, because if you can't sell anything, you're going to just people are going to flee.
If you want to make money, you can do it still on Top Shot. You can sit there. I did it today. You can sit there and just monitor, because people, I mean, here's what's going to happen. People who want to sell something, they look and see what's the lowest asking price right now, and they price it $1 lower all the time.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many times I've been on there, and I just look and see, this guy put this moment, it's like a low number, like number 121, and he's put it at lowest asking price just to dump it. And you can buy it right then and sell it. I mean, I buy them and turn around and put them right back on the marketplace.
Yeah.
And undercut everything around. It's like, dude sold it for $9. Everything around it's like $50, and you can buy it for $9 and go on there and put it for $39 and still undercut and make $30. I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that quite often, actually. Just, I have no desire for that moment, but I know that I can pick that up for $9 and make $30 on it real quick. I used to do that all the time. So.
Yeah, I used to do that every now and then, but I kept getting beat, because they had the bots, and then they still have moment ranks and other pages, that show you when like new cheap moments come up, and they'll send you like an alert, like, hey, this is
we got Jen in the chat. She bought the Top Shot pack not long ago and pulled a Shaq.
Nice.
So she's but hey, Jen, thanks for watching. Chad's talking about Lawrence Clemente that just came out, that Roberto Clemente Lawrence Taylor put out. Yeah, Chad bought that. So I think he bought a Cool Papa Bell. He also so he's getting into Project 70 as it's winding down. He's finally starting to buy, which is probably a good thing. So he doesn't
you don't have to wait all year to see everything. Yeah. You know who put out a really cool card? Actually, 2 artists collaborated. It was, I think, DJ Ski and Snoop Dogg. They did like a Peanuts looking character of like Shohei pitching, and then Snoop Dogg had someone hitting. I forgot who it was, but it was such a cool card. Yeah, check that out. It was like their last drop last week, and I just, like I said, I would have bought them if I was thinking about it, but I might have to see if they drop down to that $20 range later when I make some eBay sales, because I did pull that foil Babe Tooth, and I think I am going to try to move it to, get a couple cards maybe, but probably more try to get some Ethereum and try to get into some NFT projects that have been cheap for a while.
Yeah.
And I've been like friends with people for a while, like I love your project and it's so cheap, but I still can't buy it because I'm broke. But just to help my buddies out, because I have a lot of good NFT people and card people. They're so similar, and I don't know why it's so hard for them to get along sometimes. I mean, it's just crazy to me. It's like it's
well, people just can't get along at all. I mean,
sorry,
it drives me batty how people have to always be so tribalism, man. Tribalism is don't get me started on that. So,
and this is what when I went to that marketing class, they were talking about the lady actually read a Yankees book. Wait, no, it was the guy. The guy read it. It was wasn't a marketing class. It was like team building. And he read a book about the Yankees or something and brought it up. So I thought that was cool. But it was like, you could have, the white players, the black players, and the Latino player, if they're all in different cliques, that's okay. If you have people from each clique that can go to the other clique and bring everyone together. And that's where I talked, like a tweet I did about, a bridge person. Yeah, we could have these like little cliques, and we do, and it's fine, but we need those people that will pull us over and out every now and then to be like, hey, yeah, you guys have your thing, but hey, check out this person, and that's what I like about so many of our hobby friends is that, they are those kind of people. The people we tend to admire the most are the ones that are like, I fit in with anyone and I can talk to anyone, and everyone kind of, we just go back and forth. And that's how you find, your new friends is you just follow people. So where are we 100%. At? An hour 7?
Yeah.
I still want to talk though. I don't want to give up. This is a special show. I've been trying to trim about an hour.
You got to remember that you do have some obligations afterwards, don't you?
Yes. But we started half an hour early. Is what I say. I want to spend time with the wife before I go back to work tomorrow. So it's going to be fun time. I think we're just going to watch some Boba Fett or something, chill, if she's in the mood for it. But I wanted to talk to you about, now I forgot. I was like, I want to keep going with the show. And I'm like, I forgot everything I wanted to ask and talk about. But I will send you a link so you can look at that game, see if it's something that you would let your kid approve, and I will play it with him and we can have fun.
Absolutely. That'd be fun. He'll dig that.
We can figure out a way to raise some money.
Yeah. His brother got to be part of the tornado fundraising relief where we did the $2,000. Mm-hmm. And because that was basically the inspiration for that was I got an email from the school principal said, hey, we're gathering blankets, coats, that kind of stuff. And we're gathering at the school Friday morning. So I'm like, we're going to do this right. We're going to do this. We're going to do it right. But they go to different schools. One's in middle school, one's in elementary school. So the youngest didn't get to, my oldest got all that recognition. Like, oh my gosh, Noah brought $2,000 worth of sleeping bags and coats, and he was, he's lugging it in. We had so much that, other kids were coming and helping us getting out of the car. So he got that recognition. And then Eli is super competitive anyway, super jealous of Noah. So yeah, if he could be part of a fundraising effort, he would love that. He would love that.
Which one was the one that wanted to play D&D?
That's Noah. That's the oldest. Yeah.
The oldest. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember you talking about that, and I was like, I'm game.
I didn't get it. I don't understand it at all. I accused him of cheating, and I didn't know that what's it called? The dungeon
master basically
makes up the rules as he goes. I was like, Noah, there has to be, he was making it up, and he's bad about making up rules in other games. So I thought he was lying to me. And I was like, give me those instructions. I was like, there has to be, because I was rolling the dice and I was like, what do I need to roll in order for me not to die here or whatever? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, there's got to be something. He's like, no, I just decide whether it's good enough or not. And I'm like, that's no kind of game to play. But yeah, so I'd never played D&D ever in my life. So I'm not the best I get frustrated with it. And I know he doesn't have a lot of fun playing with me because I don't get it. And I just, let's go shoot some hoops, son. Or, let's do something.
I'll play definitely beat you at.
No, I play Fortnite with him. I learned to play Fortnite, man.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Well, it was right after the divorce, and I was struggling with not having them. That's why I kind of ended up letting them get into video games too early. But I was at home, and they were at home, and I was like, how can I they're so young, they didn't want to talk on the phone to dad. But I'm
Yeah.
like, we could play online games, and they can put on headphones, and I can put on headphones, we can play with each other, and we can talk while we're doing it. And that's our virtual version of going in the backyard and playing catch from 45 miles away.
Yeah.
So that's how I started, spending time with my kids at night when they weren't with me. Is I taught myself how to play some of the games that they were playing, and so it was pretty cool.
You weren't really much of a gamer before that?
Sports games.
Okay.
Chad's on here, probably NBA Live 95. We used to play all kinds of sports games. Whether it be baseball games, football
game still for Super Nintendo.
Yeah. We would play season upon season, like we'd create our own players, create our own teams, and just if there had been online gaming at that time,
you'd have been
Chad
amazed.
probably wouldn't have a degree right now, and probably wouldn't have the job because we wouldn't have done anything. But we would get together. I'd go to his house. He'd come to my house. We call it Loser Palooza is what we call it. And we just both, block off 3 or 4 days. We're not doing anything but going through baseball cards and playing NBA Live. That was our vacations or our weekends we would do. So yeah, I played games. I wasn't a lot into fantasy games. I wasn't a lot into, I did some shooters like Bond, the Golden Eye on N64. I love that game.
Yeah.
Loved the golf games too. Tiger Woods golf games. Used to play the hell out of those.
Golf games.
Yeah.
My dad loved them. So when the Nintendo came out, they had the NES Golf, and it's actually a really good game.
It is. Yeah.
We would play that all up all night in the summer when my older brothers would come, for the summer, and just play that. And yeah, it just got more and more golf games. My older brother had a PlayStation 3 at his office for his roofing company, for like hanging out and relaxing after work. I snapped a PlayStation 3 controller in half with my bare hands because I kept shaking the ball on Tiger Woods. And that was the last golf game I played. I was just like, shoot. There's $60. Because I'm not the best at games, but I'm not that bad. I'm like, how am I this bad? Like, I played a golf game 4 years ago and I was good at it.
When they change up how, the dynamics of how you hit, there's not a lot more frustrating in gaming than when Tiger Woods changes how you swing in their games.
I was just like, I'm done. I'm not playing, because everyone would come after work and my little brother would be so good at it playing people, and they'd be playing for money. And I'm just like, I want to play, and I'm like terrible. I'm like, I don't want to play ever again. Yeah. That's cool that you bonded. That does take, you don't want your kids to get lost in video games young, and a lot of video games do have themes that aren't like appropriate for young kids, but to be like that, this is what I have to do. And, I think that's awesome that you were just like, I'm going to learn Fortnite, which is incredibly difficult in all honesty, because you have to know how to build. You can run and shoot, but learning how to build more than just like, whoa, I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah, it's hard. I'll send you a link. We got on Eli's YouTube channel. We got a couple of where he recorded it and streamed it where we got victory royales together. So that that was really cool. I mean, it's like, I tell you, the first time we did it together, I mean, it was pretty exciting. I mean, I got pumped. I had the adrenaline, and just to see their reactions. I think they were about 8 and 9 at the time. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool moment for sure.
That's so awesome. Well, Chad, I do think I'm going to let you go. All
right, buddy.
Doors moving around.
I need to get anyway.
Any last words you want to throw out there? Just a quick reminder where they can go for your link and all that.
Yeah, I mean, first off, love you guys. Appreciate the hell out of you. My pinned tweet on my Twitter will all month long. It might not be that exact tweet, but my pinned tweet, Ian Sports Cards 1 at Twitter, will always have a link to our fundraiser. I remember it. I never see a penny of this money. It's all going directly to the American Heart Association. It's because it's very important to me. There's a reason I did it. If you're just joining in, I did tell the story earlier. So help us out. I'm really, really bad or really self-conscious about pushing my own stuff on Twitter. I'm afraid that people are just going to get sick of will he ever tweet about anything but that? So, I just ask if I do tweet something out, you happen to see it, retweet it, interact with it. If you can donate. If you can't, retweet it and maybe get it in front of somebody who can donate. And then, like I said, later in the month, I'm going to be asking for maybe some help. Join my sales thread. If you don't have a lot of money, in which I know that's why I did what I did for Garrett in December, because I didn't have the money to give him. Then sell a card and have the person pay the link instead of pay you. That would go so far in helping me get to my goal. And it's really important to me to get to that goal. If we don't get there, fine. It's not going to be the end of the world. But man, I'd love to hit that goal. So again, thank you so much. I saw, and I don't know, Heisman Nerd, I don't know your name. I appreciate you. If you're on Twitter, I'm going to follow you afterwards. I saw where you said you made a donation. I thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of that. And that's all I got, man. Tom, love you.
Yeah.
You know I do. Thanks for letting me be on here and talk to the people about why this is so important to me. And it is. I'm not doing this for clout. I think we all like to be recognized as Tom's in it just for the clout.
I'm just here for the clout. I do want to say I can vouch. Also, let me know who that is in a DM so I can make sure that I am following them. It might be someone that we do follow. Shay does stress over this. He's like, I've already tweeted my one charity tweet a day, and can you guys retweet that? I don't want to tweet again. And I'm over here just like, this is the 19th time I've tweeted this same subject. I don't care, so Shay needs your help. Shay needs your retweets and your love. Tom doesn't, because Tom's he's not gonna care. He's just gonna post it again. But just sorry about interrupting there, but I just want to hammer that home. A retweet is amazing. Likes are good, but retweets actually mean you care. Like is just like, oh yeah, okay, that's good. But a retweet is like, I love this. I believe in this. And retweets are worth 5 likes. So just retweet. All right, sorry, back to you.
That's all I had. Just thank you, everybody. And I appreciate you, man. And anytime you want me on here, I love it. I love talking to you. And if you need a guest and you can't line one up, just give me a call. I'll be your on deck guy. So I love being on here.
No, I love you too, and it's great. It's like I was telling my wife, and she's like, "Oh, you got Shay tonight, or you're like you worried about your show or anything?" It's like, no, like some guests I don't know that well, and that's why the Tom show is so good, is to get to know them. But then it's like, I do need to ask prep questions, and I do need to kind of know where to go with the thing. But with you, it's just like, well, we could just hop on and probably talk 3 hours if we really wanted to.
Yeah, we could.
So it's like, no, I'm not worried. But so it's great. And yeah, everyone, just be good. Make sure you follow Che. See his pin tweet, just retweet it. And stay tuned. You don't have to turn notifications on or anything, but every now and then, just know that Che's month for the Rack Ambassadors. And I know a lot of people, you guys like, Eric Hecker's Rack of the Day. You guys are helping nominate people. Keep that going too, because this is all about just helping people. It was just something Eric decided he wanted to do to get, cards to people where they belong. We all have cards we don't really need, but would be better off with our friends. I have a ton of Joe Adele's, and I forgot my buddy Brian at Not Nolan Ryan is a huge Joe Adele collector. So I'm not like, I could send him 50 cards right now. So this is why we do it. It's to build a community and build, just tighten everything up, and if we're just building a better hobby. And so, yeah, just keep an eye on Hecker. Keep an eye on Che for this month. There are other Rack Ambassadors. You'll see those come up. They're all going to make an appearance on the Tom Show, I hope. They've all kind of said they would do it because I do want to, at the beginning of the month, kind of get their message out. And Che, I love you. You've got to go, and I've got to go. Yep. Good night, everybody.
One last thing. Hooday. All right, I'm out. Bye,